What is up, guys? Man, I had a great chat with Carson Mumford, and a lot of people don't know a ton about Carson Mumford other than he was a factory amateur for the longest time, and he's been underwhelming as a pro. But if you listen to his actual story and how hard he's fighting for his career and to kind of realize that potential that we all know he has, man, I'll tell you what, I got a lot of respect for Carson Mumford, and I'm pulling for him. And I really appreciate his honesty and willingness just to talk about this stuff and talk about his struggles, talk about his success, and talk about what he knows he can do. Anyway, thank you to my sponsors, Nano Extreme, Coach Rob, CRS. By the way, they have partnered to help out Jerry Robin and Hayden Bennett. If you want to get on that, you got a few more days. Keep in mind, the $50 that you donate will be matched by Coach Rob and then matched again by Nano Extreme. And Nano Extreme is also got another $19,000. Help with a good cause, and we'll help out Jerry and Hayden. You know the other sponsors: Precision Transport, best shipping company out there; Ride Strapped, just a really cool company; goggles, glasses, shirts; Alias MX, who was a longtime sponsor of the Geico Honda team, which Carson Mumford got his first break with. Unfortunately, right when he turned pro, that team folded. So anyway, check out Alias MX. They're still around.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
All right, guys, so I've got Carson Mumford, one of the most talented guys I've seen on a dirt bike, but he's also had a really unique pro journey. Carson, what's happening, brother?
What's going on? I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, so you got a new team, and this is not unique for you. You have had a lot of different teams since you've turned pro. What do you think of this AEO team?
It's really awesome. Really, really awesome. It's like you said, I've gotten the opportunity to ride for a lot of different teams, and I really feel like this is a really good group of people, and I feel like I have a little bit of credibility to say so, you know?
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about your career, because you were a amateur prodigy. I mean, you were a guy that we were just assuming was going to be a top pro. And I looked at an old picture and I saw you, Jet Reynolds, and Ryder D, and they kind of wanted you guys to be like Stuart Pastrana and, that generation.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, dude, I definitely had a really good amateur career, right? Like, I don't know if I could really go back and even do it better. I mean, there's things that you could always learn from, but I was really blessed to have a good amateur career and, ride the best equipment. Obviously with the 150, it was something that was so unique, and it had so much time and money and effort put into it from a factory team. And I still think I have one of the biggest amateur contracts to date. I had a 6-year deal. But yeah, dude, when I went pro, I actually did pretty well my first year outdoors with Geico, and I still had 2 years left on my pro contract, and yeah, just folded. And it was one of those things that, it folded so suddenly that it was like all hell broke loose, right? And it was so late in the year that it was really hard to negotiate any contracts with any teams because their budgets were full, and, teams were opening up more budget and people were riding for free. And Geico obviously had a powerhouse team, so yeah, it was wild because I really did decent my first pro outdoor season. I mean, I top 5 to moto. I got more top 10s than not. I did good, right? Good enough to even earn myself another spot if it was a different year. But having JGR and Geico fold the same year, dude, you had some amazing riders riding for free at other teams. And it was just one of those things that I had a hard time finding a home. And when things snowball, it can snowball in the right direction or the wrong direction. And it snowballed in the wrong direction for years. And I've been slowly kind of climbing the ladder, trying to work my way back into the position I once was in.
Yeah, that was tough. So you raced 2019, a lot of nationals. Were you racing as an amateur then? Or
So I just raced Unadilla, and then I only rode the first moto at Budds Creek. It was super hot at Budds Creek, and I got like some heat exhaustion there, but I really didn't even it was spur of the moment type thing. Like, I raced Loretta's with no intent of riding a pro national, and I got second at Loretta's. I got second overall with a crash in one of the motos. So it was one of those things where I kind of blew the championship overall, but I was riding so good and had such good lap times and stuff that everyone was like, you want to just go do this and see how it goes, right? So it wasn't like I really prepped for it at all. I was really pounding those 25-minute motos for Loretta's. And then, I took 1 week and did a 30+2 and said, all right, let's go racing outdoor. But I got like 16th and 20th in the motos I did. Wasn't very great, but it was kind of to be like expected, right? Like I didn't really like train for it that much, but yeah, that was the only outdoor I did in 2019. And then 2020, I turned officially pro and raced the outdoor season that year, but it was COVID, so it was only 9 rounds, which I think they're normally 11 or 12 rounds. So a little bit of a different schedule. We raced at Redbud like 2 times that year. We raced at Loretta's 2 times that year. So it was like a weird pro debut to begin with, but
Yeah, that was a crazy season. Is there a reason that you didn't do Supercross? Did you have one of those plans where you felt like you'd feel more comfortable starting in the outdoors and then going to Supercross?
no, it was, to be honest, it was a lot of drama back then. Like in 2019, that's when the Lawrence brothers kind of came over to America, and it was already a pretty full team. I'm not going to lie. Like there was already like a lot of people. Jet came over to ride the B class, but me and my family already knew that he wasn't eligible for the B class because he had been riding the A class in Europe, So he came over here to ride B, immediately got bumped into the A class the first race he tried to do. So then it was me, Joe Shimoda, and Jet Lawrence all in the A class. It was really full. And at the time, Joe and Jet both had Lucas as their agent, and he was really smart and kind of got them all to go pro at the same time. And it was one of those things that maybe my agent wasn't as aggressive at the time. And next thing you know, I was scheduled to go pro, and then I had to stay back and ride amateur a year. It was a weird deal, right? Like I definitely at the time wasn't stoked on it because I was kind of rivalry. I had a little bit of a rivalry going with my teammates that whole year. We would swap moto wins and stuff. And then to watch them go pro when I had been on the team the longest and was scheduled to go pro, it's kind of like, a bummer for me. But I was just like, you know what? I took it on the chin and was like, whatever happens, happens. But it kind of screwed me, right? Because I didn't get to show what I was capable of on a factory bike in Supercross. And they had that full year of like, it was almost like a gimme, right? Like, it's your rookie year, go learn. Obviously, they both did well. But then the next year, when I lost a ride, I had to try and figure out Supercross on a privateer team with a privateer effort. And it was one of those things that, like, looking back, I really could have used some factory backing to lean on and learn from. I had to learn everything the hard way and cut my teeth the hard way with bike setups and data and just not knowing anything, right?
Yeah, and that's one of my biggest questions is, so you were part of this amateur system that's kind of broken where they make you a factory rider. You had this job stability for so long, and then you get to be a pro, and all of a sudden the rug's pulled out. I mean, that had to really kind of shake not only just, physically, but mentally, like, oh my gosh, it's not as safe. It's not like, what am I going to do? Did you go through a lot of that?
Oh, shoot, dude. It was terrible, right? Like, there's obviously a bunch of things that, that just don't sit well with me, with that whole situation. But yeah, it was terrible. And I have to kind of pat myself on the back a little bit because I really, truly think if there was a lot of the people that are in this sport that would have gone through what I had gone through, they probably would have quit, and I've watched a lot of kids that are from my era and my age group just kind of not give up, but you just find something else to do, because they were kind of gotten like, similar scenarios. And it's so hard to go. I mean, the sport's hard in general, right? But it was really hard for me to go from having really like the best equipment, right? I rode on Team Green Amateur for 4 years and we had really good bikes and I won a lot. Then we got on Geico and we had really good equipment and I won a lot. And then I rode so much factory equipment for so long. Then when I got on something else, it was demoralizing, right? Because I knew what we were up against, and no one could really tell me otherwise because I had been doing it for the last 8 years. I knew exactly what we were up against. And anytime I was like, how do we get, for me, one of the biggest things that I've struggled with when I turned pro is transmissions. I rode factory transmissions for so long and it makes such good power and such a big window. And the way I can kind of dumb it down is a non-factory transmission is kind of like riding a 2-stroke on a Supercross track. You got to shift it so many times and it's really hard to ride it in the right gear. And so I complained about that for years, and basically people started telling me it just didn't exist, like what you're talking about does not exist. And then when I got the PC fill-in ride, the first day on the bike, I'm like, light bulb, there's that factory transmission again. I could hit any jump out of any corner in first gear. I could hit every whip section in fifth gear, third gear, fourth gear. It didn't really matter. You could almost screw up and still do any rhythm lane. And so I was like, oh my God, like I wasn't crazy. This is what we're up against. I knew it the whole time, where I'd struggled for so many years, like people getting on me about, man, you're not jumping that 3 out of that corner every lap. And I'm telling them, like, dude, if my bike's not in the perfect power, I will crash over that. Like the power runs out at the top of the lip, and it's almost like I got to shift it like a 125 and shift it on the face of the jump. But when I got back on the pro circuit bike, it was just like, it was almost like it was a great moment, but also it was like, I freaking knew it, dude. Like I knew that, like, I don't know. It's weird because I always knew I had like the riding ability as like, the factory riders, but there's like something that was holding me back. And that was one of the things, right? Like I was just struggling so bad to argue people on why I wasn't hitting a rhythm section that was super big or something. Like it's a crazy sport, right? There's so many different variables and teams, and a lot of the times the riders seems like they don't believe them. You know what I mean? So you're like, you stepping on toes if you're trying to make suggestions to anybody, right? But yeah, it was a gnarly last few years, but I'm like, no BS. I'm really stoked on this AO program. Like the bike is like really good. It has a huge power range on the engine. So it's one of those things that like I'm talking about, like with the factory bikes, like you can hit jumps so much easier and effortlessly the whole main event. And that's how I have a good feeling about this bike. So I'm really looking forward to Supercross. So should be good.
Well, and then, okay, so you went with the Chaparral team I'm sorry, that was a mishmash. I'm not a fan of the team manager. I don't know how you feel about him, but I didn't like the owner manager. I think he's an idiot. I felt like he tells a lot of lies, and it was frustrating to know what you were getting there. But we'll move past him. You don't need to comment on him. Bar X Yamaha. I'm a big fan of Myron Short, but the thing is, or Bar X Suzuki at the time, it's a Suzuki, man. I don't care how good, it's still a Suzuki. And I knew you were up against it on that, but you were still really fast, but you had a concussion in the off season.
Yeah. So like you said, like I don't want to talk crap on any bike brands because we need them in the sport, right? But the Suzuki is a little bit outdated. I think we can all agree on that. And I mean, dude, I trained my butt off that year. I overtrained that year. Like I was ready, and I would still get tired in the main events, and it didn't make any sense, it's hard to ride. It's one of those bikes that I was telling you about. It's really hard to compete against factory teams. It comes down to the rider has to really, really be good. Like I got a 6th place at a Supercross that year on that bike, and let me tell you that literally felt like a win. Like I felt like I should have popped a champagne bottle, because it was like I rode that bike as hard as I could ride it without crashing and to the best of my ability. And I got 6th, and I was like, dude, shoot, dude, that's as good as I could do. Right. And then there was, some outdoor races. I think I got like an 8th in a moto or something like that. And it was like, that is for what I was riding. And at that time, it was like a win, but it's tough because the teams don't think that, right? The other factory teams that you're trying to get to and be a part of, they just pull out a piece of paper and it says Carson Mumford 6th, and they go, well, why are we going to take a chance on you when our guy got 4th? And it's like, dude, I'm telling you, if it's like I would be seconds a lot faster if I was riding your equipment, So it's crazy, and I'm very grateful that, I had an opportunity to even race that year. And, there's a lot of people like the Bar X Suzuki team. If I didn't have that, I probably would have, had a couple other options, but they're about the same level, So I'm grateful that I got the opportunity and they took me to all the races, and, they spent their money on me to go do all that. But I'm one of those people that's really hard on myself, and I know what I am capable of. So it's frustrating, right? Like you train your butt off, and then you just feel like you're leaving something out on the table every weekend. It's a tough pill to swallow, and it's hard to sleep at night knowing that, I just don't want to have any regrets, right? I know that this career and Supercross is only so long, which is cool, because you definitely put your heart and soul into it. And then, when your time is up, you got to go find something else. So, but it's one of those things. I don't want to leave any regrets and leave any positions on the table and look back at my career and say, man, if I would have tried harder, I would have done better. So it's one of those things that sometimes I've stepped on toes. Like, I need this part for my bike, and they just, they don't want to do it. But it's like, dude, I know I could get a couple positions better if I had it. It's gnarly. It's a gnarly sport.
It is. It's tough. And you have to be selfish for yourself when it comes to demanding the things that you know you need. And I always say, riders, you got to give them what they want. If you're comfortable, you can send it. If you're not, I don't care what the data says. If you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to go.
I
But
agree.
I have to ask, you were killing it on the MCR Honda team. And I was talking with Tony Alessi. I told him, I said, Mumford is going to get podiums. You were on the verge.
Yep.
And then you left the team. What happened?
I really wanted to be on a team that did the full season. Was
Okay.
one of my biggest things. That team does pretty much indoors only, right? And then now I don't know if they even ride Supercross. They do more of arena cross and World Supercross. And it's one of those things where, like I was just telling you, like, I don't want to have any regret, and I feel like I'm young enough, especially at that time. I mean, I was 21, right? I was like, I'm young enough. I need to be riding the whole series. I need to be riding super motocross. I need to be riding the outdoor series. The World Supercross stuff is cool. And Supercross is definitely the bread and butter of our sport. But yeah, I also feel like I'm a really good outdoor rider too. So it was one of those things that I really wanted to be on a team that they just did the full year. But I was definitely grateful to be a part of that. And working with Tony is great. And like you said, I had some good rides. I got 2 top 5s, and there was definitely some times that, a podium was like right there. So I'm definitely grateful for them as well. Like, they gave me an opportunity to go get those top 5s.
Yeah, and I noticed you didn't ride outdoors last year with the Honda, but it seems strange to me that you left the MCR team and went to Quadlock Honda, which also doesn't do outdoors.
So it was kind of the thing, like, I was told we were supposed to do outdoors type situation, right? And then, stuff always happens, and it was one of those things too where I was, I don't want to get into it too much, right? Because
No, you don't need to. I was just curious.
Yeah, it's a weird deal, and it's tough as a rider because you can air out so much dirty laundry, right? But it never comes back to hurt anyone else but you. It really seems.
That is so correct. Yeah, if you air it out, people don't look at the problems. They go, this guy's complaining. And I heard a lot of the internal issues there. And I'm a big fan of that Quadlock team, but I see your side and I see their side, and it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to part ways and say, like, you know what? It just doesn't work. Let's go somewhere else. But as a rider, you know what you need.
Yeah, for sure. And it's tough. Like, it's not like I didn't sacrifice a lot to be there. Like, I uprooted my entire life from California, moved there in a little tiny camper, and lived in a dirt field next to the shop, and was eat, drink, sleep that team. And like, I bought into it, dude. Like, let's do this thing. So when it's tough, when it doesn't work out as a rider, I've done my best to, we've had problems, and to keep my mouth shut, not run my mouth to people like you. And
yeah. Hey, I'm going to cut you off right here before you say something you're going to regret, because I don't want to do that to you. I know you're on to some positive stuff and some good things, and we don't need to rehash any of that. I will say this. I know it's difficult for you because I think you're looked at as a guy who has been on that factory team. You've had everything. You had what a lot of people look at as an easy upbringing with the Geico team.
Yeah.
What they don't understand is that makes it twice as hard when the rug was pulled out.
Yeah.
But then they go, oh, this kid's just whiny. He expects everything, which is not true. And I don't see that, but I think you get labeled that sometimes.
I agree. I 100% agree. And, I've had a lot of fantastic opportunities. Like, I cannot stress to you enough how many things that I've gotten to do in this sport that so many people will never get to do. And I'm so grateful for that. Yes, I have sacrificed my entire existence to this, So I think it is somewhat deserved that I have got to do some cool stuff, because I've literally never done or attempted to do anything else. And I've been tunnel visioned on one thing, didn't go to school like other kids. And, it's die hard this, right? So I'm definitely lucky that I got to do a lot of cool things. But yeah, I it's been tough. Like having these opportunities, they haven't always worked out. I've been injured a lot. So I think that's one of the things too that, you know, it's tough as a rider. You don't always get to tell the media and people that you are injured because then you get labeled as an injured rider, you know? So when people see, like basically what I'm hinting at is when I rode for PC, I was injured the entire time. You know, I got that fill-in ride to ride for Mitch for Supercross, and when he hired me, I hadn't really even rode yet because I had a pretty bad broken wrist. I didn't even plan on riding the season, you know? So I came in and had a broken wrist and tried to race. And then a couple weeks later, I tore my calf muscle. So I'm riding with like one leg, one arm, right? And I'm getting 7th or 8th place out there on a pro circuit bike. Well, that looks bad on me now because I've been complaining that I need these transmissions. I need these bikes to help me get to that next level. And then I finally get that opportunity. And then I ride the whole year injured, right? And I'm getting dang near the same results that I was getting the year previous, but I'm riding at 60% of my riding ability. So it's, yeah, you get labeled as a whiner real quick when stuff like that happens, right? Like, oh, well, we gave Carson the shot, you know, but it's like, shoot, dude. I mean, if I look back, like, I'm so grateful Mitch gave me that opportunity, but it was like the gnarliest year ever, riding injured and taping yourself up and like getting the shots by the medics at the races, the total shots, and like, you know, freaking damn near riding in tears out there because it was so gnarly. And then you just feel like you're blowing that opportunity that Mitch was so kind enough to give me, you know? So it's another thing too, that the media or fans, I guess, don't necessarily get to know everything because it's a really double-edged sword for riders, right? Like you tell them, hey, I'm riding injured right now. But so you're going to see me probably not at my best out there. And then they go, well, that's another injury for Mumford. That's, you know, 5 in the last couple of years. Don't hire him. He's injured all the time. So it's tough.
Wow, that is a no-win situation. It's very
Yeah.
tough. You hide it and look like you're getting 8th for no reason, or you come out with it and you become labeled fragile.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? It's really hard. And it's also like, it's tough in a position like me. Like there's so many riders that are in the same position as me, but I'm so close to being a factory rider. I personally think, right? Like there's more races than not. I'm around all the factory guys, right? I mean, I sound like a broken record, right? But I'm right in that mix, like, you know, 2 top 5s or we're almost got a podium or almost qualifying first and doing stuff that the factory guys do all the time. But I'm just that step right below that. Like I say it all the time, I'm one of the best non-factory riders, you know? So there's like a group of us that I feel like should get the opportunity at some point. There's just not enough spots. But it goes from getting paid a good chunk of money to live a good lifestyle to then just getting paid nothing. You know what I mean? So it's really gnarly to even get to the races and take care of yourself enough, like going and seeing chiropractors and, you know, supplements and stuff like that. Cause all like guys in my position or even a little bit lower, there's just no budget for it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's something that I am just trying so hard to bring to people's attention, that this sport could have a lot more money for
Yeah.
guys who are almost factory. If the
Yeah.
sport paid, you know, and I've done the breakdowns on my other videos about how much they put back into the riders, and it's lower than the WNBA. If they
Yeah.
just put back like a regular professional sport where you put 40% back into your athletes, all you guys that make the night show would make $100,000 salaries. And are you going to make money, football money? No, but you'll make a lot more. You can actually survive. You can actually have a career. Now, the only way to really make money is if you are on that factory team. If you don't get to the factory team, you don't make profit in the sport.
Yeah, and how you get on those factory teams is by beating the factory riders with less money and less things to help you do so. So it's really hard to get that breakthrough. That's why it's so impressive when you see guys like Marchbanks or McAdoo when, you know, he turned pro, guys that maybe weren't on factory teams and they somehow got on one. It's very impressive, right? Because there's a lot of riders, I would say probably 90% of our sport, the factory guys come from amateurs and they stay on factory teams, and they're basically on factory teams their whole entire career. So it's very, very, in my personal opinion, right? It's hard to come from a non-factory support to get back on it.
Oh yeah, there was a time in the sport where once you lost a factory ride, if you had it, you were done. And I think Tim Ferry was the first guy to re-get another factory ride, but it's
Yeah.
difficult because
Yeah.
you're also competing against guys, and like you said, you know what you're going against, so it makes it like
Yeah.
really hard mentally.
You're touching on it perfectly, right? Like it's gnarly, and I've basically had to become more of an aggressive rider because of it. Like I was never really that rider that wanted to make contact or do anything like that. I always kind of just thought, if I'm better and I'm faster, I'll pass them. But it's gotten to a point toward these last few years that even if a faster guy's coming up behind me, I need to show that I can hold this position. I'm going to be the gnarliest guy to pass ever. And almost to the level of like, I'm kind of playing dirty out there because I want it so bad, dude. Like, I want to show these people that I'm good enough and show myself. And, sometimes there's no other way but to just freaking get gnarly out there, right? Like, there's been a couple times that even like for heat races, I've seen an opportunity to lead a heat race and I'm willing to park the guy. Like, it just is what it is, right? Like, where I think some people would think that's kind of wrong, or like, dude, it's just a heat race. Like, it doesn't matter. It second or third doesn't matter. Where I'm like, everything matters. Every position, every lap, because I'm trying to show these people what I'm made of.
It's kill or be killed, and you understand how like you've gotten to the point where I think sometimes when these kids grow up on the factory, had you
Yeah,
got the factory opportunity and been on there for 4 or 5 years, you might not have that hunger or that desire. That now you know how quickly it can be gone.
for sure. And my parents always, let me know growing up, like, hey, this can go in an instant, right? But when they told me that, I always kind of let that sunk in more as like if I don't do good, this can go away, right? Where I was doing good and it still went away. So that was like, it was a real big shock, right? Because they always told me, hey, it's a piece of paper. If you're not out there winning or you're not out there, being valuable, it's a piece of paper. They can drop you, dude. Like, they always told me that. And so I always had that in the back of my mind, right? But it was a completely different situation where the team just folded and I just got left with nothing, after doing pretty well my rookie year.
Yeah, that was tough. But hey, you got a good opportunity, and I see Julian Beaumer is out. I was lobbying for you. Now, is there a way on your contract if they wanted to bump you to the factory spot to fill in for Julian? Would your team allow you to do that, or you just want to stay with AEO and just make this work?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, honestly. I've heard, I'm really not too sure. You always kind of, I've even had in contracts in the past, like if a fill and ride comes available, I'm supposed to be the first one, and then all of a sudden someone from Europe comes over and fills the spot. So I think even if it's in the contract, it's kind of just it's just, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know how that all works, but
I like your attitude. I don't care. I'm going to do my job and see what happens.
yeah, seriously. And I think that the position I'm in now, it's a good enough position for me to go get podiums. Like, I really think that I've learned so much over these last few years. And it's one of the things that, like, I'm really not too bitter about how everything's happened these last few years, riding injured and, people talking crap about me or, just not being a factory rider. I'm not too bitter on it because I've learned so much. And I know for a fact I would not have learned this much if I was just on a factory team, doing that whole deal. So I am happy. And I do really think if I can claw my way back to being a podium guy, all that knowledge that I've learned over these last few years is going to pay off. Like, it's really going to be like, you see Cooper Webb out there make a lot of high IQ race decisions and how he approaches the race day and stuff. I've learned so much about myself going through all this and how I like to approach race days and stuff, that I think I wouldn't have learned. I would have probably just done what I was told from the team trainer and just done it that way, been a little bit more cookie cutter, where now I got to kind of give a lot of credit to Vince Freeze for that. Seriously, like, being his teammate at MCR, he goes about things that is probably labeled unorthodox, right? Like, he has his way of how things work for him, and it works for him, dude. Like, you can't knock it at all. The guy's making a living racing, and he's done it for years. And all the people that really want to talk crap about him, couldn't ever do what he's doing, or couldn't dream of doing it. So I do have to give credit to him. Like, he kind of just told me, like, hey, dude, like, do what works for you, you know. And I did that year at MCR, and it seemed like it was really treading in the right direction. So, but even again, that year I learned a lot, and I'm ready to really apply what I've learned this year. I really feel like I'm in a good space mentally. There's been years where I've came into the series and I wasn't like super confident with the program or a bike, or I've been injured, and that's all out the window right now. I'm super confident with my bike. I'm confident in my training, I'm confident with the team. You know, and I'm living in a place I'd like to live with good people. So it's all like, it's really positive for me lately. And I think it's going to show on the track, you know?
Yeah. And your personal life, you got a new bride. Are you getting married or did you get married?
I'm getting married. So we're engaged right now, but we're getting married.
Congratulations. Do you have a date?
Yeah, it's really soon. We're going to just try and knock it out before the season, because it's one of those things that, like I said, I've been clear-headed, and weddings definitely bring out a lot of hassle, right? Like a lot of sitting down and coming up with plans and this and that. And you can just overthink and overspend, in my opinion. And me and her are on the exact same page of like, hey, well, this isn't a show for everyone else. This is just about us. Let's just do what makes us happy, keep it small, and get it kind of done. I mean, we've lived together for 3 years now. It's not like things are really going to change. You know, it's one of those things that it's obviously a cool thing, and something that we want to check off our list of things to accomplish in life, right? But there's not going to be a lot of stuff that changes from it. So it's going to be more of like, I feel like more headache than anything, right? Especially for her. She's got a lot of planning and stuff to do. And we both just kind of agreed this season, I really feel like I have a good chance at doing well. So I didn't want to, it's selfish of me, obviously, but you have to be, like you said, I didn't want to have to be dealing with planning and stuff and racing at the same time. I'm pretty selfish when the season starts, or you don't see me going out to dinner with friends and stuff. I'm staying at home, I'm watching film, and all I'm thinking about is riding and racing. So I want to keep it that way. I like it.
Well, Carson, like I said to you, it's okay to be selfish for your career. And, you know, like I say, your new bride, she might not like it when you're selfish, but she's going to like those bonus checks when you hit that podium. And I'm sure you will. I just think you're inevitable. I think you got too much talent. You've been doing it too long. You're in too good a headspace. I just feel like this is a year that's really going to help you a lot.
Me too, man. And I appreciate you saying that, but I agree. And it somewhat sounds cocky, right? But I really think that, like, I have so much talent. Like, I really do. Like, I rode Supercross for the first time on this team yesterday, and I haven't rode a track in California in over a year, right? I've been living at MTF, and I showed up to a brand new Supercross track at Elsinore. I never rode it. I didn't even walk the track, and I went out there and I hit every jump first lap. I mean, that's probably not even smart, but
No.
but seriously, like, when I got on the track, it was just like, it feels easy, right? Like, it's like I have a harder time walking than I do riding, like, seriously. So it's one of those things that, like, yeah, even like working with my mechanic and stuff, he was like, you just jumped the triples and finish lines and everything first lap. You didn't even walk the track. And I was just like, I don't know, dude, it's just a triple, bro. Like, it's not a big deal. And he's just like, you're nuts, bro. But to me, like, it's just like, it's as easy as putting one foot in front of the other, right? Like, it just, I don't know. Yeah. So I really, it's funny. It's funny that, like, but I just really feel like I have a lot of talent, and I don't want to be that guy that people look at and say, man, what a waste of talent. You know what I mean? Because there's so many guys that you can say that about. And it's one of those things that, man, I really want to show people what I'm capable of.
Listen, you're doing everything right. And the thing that, you know, being older, I can say this because I've been through a whole bunch. I've seen other people. When your career's done, no matter what results you get, if you gave your all and you know in your heart that you gave it your all, whatever results you have, it's so much easier to sit with. The guys that have a hard time are the ones that go, man, I knew I didn't do what I should have, and I could have done better. That haunts them. The guys that give it their all don't get haunted.
You're right. You're 100% right, because I can think of other guys that, you know, are like that go, man, I wish I would have worked harder. And, you know, I've even had past trainers tell me, they're like, hey, man, I didn't make it because I didn't work as hard. So that's why I'm a great trainer. You know, I can coach you. And I really, the regrets I have is I wish I didn't get hurt, right? But that's stuff that it just happens, you know? It's not like I was goofing off and got hurt. I was training my butt off and stuff happens, you know? I really sleep well at night, even with the whole Geico thing folding and the PC thing not really working out. Cause I know every time I was on the track and every time I was in the gym, I was trying to overachieve. And like you said, that's going to make a big difference at the end of my career. You're always going to look back, have hindsight and go, man, I should have left Geico the year they were folding before and gone to a different team when I was still valuable, right? You can always do that. Oh, man, I wish on pro circuit I didn't blow my calf out that day. I should have not rode, right? You can always do that. But I always try to put my best foot forward. It's not like I don't drink. I don't party. I'm in bed early. I have a hyperbaric chamber. I'm all about recovery. And I've always worked with good trainers and done exactly what they've asked. And it's one of those things that I can hold my head high on that. So I hope to continue down that path and get those podiums and check those bucket list things off. And I think it'll revamp my career and I'll sleep even better.
Totally agree. I think that's awesome. Thank you. I don't want to take too much of your time. You need to be selfish with it. Hey, do you remember Mike Grondal from the Geico team?
Yep.
He's got Nano Extreme, this pain cream. It's amazing. Can I send you some of it? You can give it a try?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. I'm a big fan of the Grundles. I love their family and Alias and all that. It's like reminiscing anytime I see Alias and stuff, or talking to Eric or anyone in the Grundle family, right? So that'd be awesome.
Yeah, they're good people. So where can people find you and watch this journey of you with AEO this year?
So just my Instagram, just my name, Carson Mumford. I have started a little side Instagram. I have a really big passion for two strokes and old builds and dirt bikes. Like, I'm one of those kids that grew up just so heavily involved. Like, I mean, my dad rode, my grandma rode, my all aunts and uncles. Like, it's one of those things that I was really born into dirt bikes, and I have such a big appreciation for it. And I think I have some sort of, I don't know, it's just like my niche, right? Like, I could tell you about races and stuff that it's really useless knowledge, but I just love it, So it's Carson Mumford's Garage is my other Instagram that I like to do. And I just post stupid stuff I'm doing in the garage each night after riding. I'm working on bikes right now. I'm building a KTM 125, 2003, and I'm going to make it look like my AEO replica bike. So just fun stuff that I like to do, and it's still moto related. So, but it's just a little insight on how my personal life is too, because on social, you can't really show too much of your personal life. It's kind of got to be business.
Yeah, good stuff, Carson. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And we'll stay in contact, and good luck to you, brother. Oh, didn't you have merch? Are you selling more merch or something?
Yeah, it's just, again, it's in my Instagram bio, just a link. So yeah, go check it out. I do some merch here and there, and I really don't make a lot of money on it. I just kind of like to see, it's like a childhood dream, right? Seeing someone wear your t-shirt at the race or coming up and saying that, I don't know. It's just cool to me. It's not like you see a lot of riders that probably kill it on merch. Like Deegan probably crushes it, dude. But it's not the case for me, but it's still awesome if you guys support, and I appreciate you guys wearing it.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. See ya.
But I don't blame them, I blame you!
Let's start this off by saying, we got them. The illegal sale of American motorcycle racing. I present a case that reveals how the American Motorcyclist Association's 2008 sale of its racing properties constituted an illegal transfer of public trust into private hands. My name's B. Maisie, and I'm here to stir shit up. So I made a song for you guys. It's crazy that the riders still gotta pay to race, even though these guys are just filling their pockets because they're money hungry, greedy, stupid mother, ex-circus owners, but still got the same mindset for the Supercross. Screw Feld, screw the AMA, and screw Rob Dingman. I'm reading your obituary. It says you died in 2008. I guess selling souls is a business. cause of death was suspicious. Lord knows your soul was lost. I am just a witness, cause I know who killed motocross. Cause I know who killed motocross. This is the arraignment for NASCAR failed entertainment. I am just a witness, but I gotta make a statement. I speak for the people cause we can't remain complacent. The illegals hell American motorcycle racing. The devil is a wingman, his name is Rob Dingman. He wanna kill the future of the moto kids in dreamland. How selfish do you gotta be? Treat us like cheap property. Package us up and sell the whole sport to a monopoly. This is very legal, they don't care about the people. It's like NASCAR and Jordan, man, this practice is deceitful. Private entities manipulating what we love. The DMG extorting the AMA, a bunch of thugs. This happened to Planet Fitness, the dark side of business. Rest in peace to motocross, cause I will never forget it. And I will never forget it. Right on. I'm reading your obituary. It says you died in 2008. I guess selling souls is a business. Cause you gave it all away. But your cause of death was suspicious. Lord knows your soul was lost. I am just a witness, cause I know who killed